in the 100 days graphic design challenge with Xpress-Pixels. So very quickly today we'll be designing a book jotter. So I head over to this place, I click create new. So I'm using 1480 by 2160 pixels. I'll just click create. Okay, so this is what we have. The next thing I'm going to do is to bring in all my resources that I'll be using for this design. So very quickly I head over to this place. So I'll just drag it like this. Okay, I'll now drop it into Photoshop. So very quickly enter, 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 enter. Okay, so I head over to my layers. I'm just going to shift this, and then I'll just close the eyes of the ones that I'll not be using. So I'll just go and get my image. So I head back to downloads. Okay, I'll just bring in this image like this. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so I have this. I'm just going to drag it like this, drag it like this, and I'll hit enter. And the next thing I'm going to do is to apply. I'll just take this down and I'll apply the hue and saturation to this. So I'm just going to 144. Okay, so I head back to my layers. This is what we have. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is to open up the eyes of the curtain. So I head over to this place. I'll just bring this up. I'll click on it. I'll just lock this layer, and I'll click on this one, and then I'm just going to reduce this like this. Okay, I'll reduce it this way. I'll bring it here, and I'll drop it here. Okay, to have something like this. Then I'm just going to hit enter. So I'll head over to this place, and I'm going to click on this hue and saturation. I'm going to change this to 180. I'll just click here to clip. Okay, so this is what we have. I head over to my layers. I click on this. I use my Alt and I drag, holding my shift. Then I just Ctrl T, right click, and I'll flip it horizontal to have something like this. Okay, something like this. I'll hit enter. So I head over to my hue and saturation. I'll use my Alt and I'll drag to this place, and I'll right click and I'll clip it to this. Okay, so this is what we have. Now that we are done with this, the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in my image. I'll drop it here. Okay, then I'll head over to select, and I'm going to click subject. Select the subject. Okay, so I'll just wait for it to load. Okay, now that I've selected the subject, I'm just going to click here. This is what we have. Okay, next thing I'll do is to open up the eyes of this. I'll bring it forward like this, and then I'll change the color of the flower. I'm going to change it here. So I head over to hue and saturation like this, and I'll be using 134. Okay, so I'll just click on this to clip it onto the flower. So I bring this here, I drag it this way, and I drop it here. I head over to filter, and I'm going to be using blur, and I'll be using motion blur. Okay, let's see, this is what we have. You see my angle and the distance. Okay, I'm just going to click OK. I'll click on this, I'll Ctrl G, I'll Ctrl G to group, and then I'll Ctrl J to duplicate. So I'll just Ctrl T, then I'll move this holding my shift key, move this inside like this, and I'll click on group 1, Ctrl T, and I'll move it like this to have something like this. So I'll just hit my enter. Okay, this is what we have. Then the next thing I'll do is to open up the eyes of this image. Okay, I'll just take it forward like this, and I'll have something of this nature. I'll hit enter, and then I'll just head over to this place, and I'll be using screen to have something like this. And I'll just click on this, I'll Ctrl J. Okay, then I'll bring this to the top like this to have this, and then I'll click on this one, I'll leave it beneath here. Okay, it has entered this group, so I'll just bring it out like this, and then I'm just going to use Ctrl T. I'll transform this, I'll increase it. Okay, increase it like this. Okay, so I'll bring it to the middle edge like this. Okay, I'll just reduce it a bit, think it's too much. Okay, I'll bring it this way, enter, then I will click here, and then I'll use this, and I'll just erase. Okay, I'll change this to this, and I'll just erase this like this. Don't want it to be too much. Okay, let's see. So I'm just going to click here, and I'll look for the one that fits. Okay, I'll just use soft light to have something like this. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is to open up the eyes of, okay, this one. I'll bring it forward like this, and then I'm just going to use my eraser tool. Click on this, and I'll use my tool here, and then I'll increase this hardness. I'll just click on this one, I'll reduce. Okay, okay, Ctrl Z. I'll reduce the size with my brush tool. I want to use the second one, so I'll just clean up this one. I drop my tool, I right click, and I'll convert to smart object to have something like this. Okay, this is what we have. If I start adding my text, I'm just going to bring in a new layer. This is it, and then I'll just head over to my brush tool. I'll change this color, I'll use this. Okay, then I'll just bring it this way. Okay, I'll click OK, and then I'll increase this, or better still, I'll just reduce it, and then I'll just drag it over. Okay, Ctrl Z. I'll just pick my brush tool to be this. Okay, so I'll just drag over this like this. Okay, I'll drop my tool, and I'm going to change this to screen, and then I'll look for my two flowers. This is it, this is it. So I'll just drag it up to be above, and then I'll click on this. I want to reduce this, so I'll just reduce it. I don't want it to affect my flowers, so I'll just do it this way. Enter, and now that I have something like this, I'll just reduce this way. I'll just reduce like this. I'll hit enter, then I'll I'll bring it here. Okay, I'll just adjust this image a bit. This one here, this one, Ctrl T. I'll just reduce it a bit like this, and I'll bring it here to have something like this. And I'll drag it this way. Okay, so back to what I was doing. I'll just open this up, and then I'm going to type HAPPY. Okay, so I'll just say okay, HAPPY to have something like this. So I'm just going to change the color. I head over to properties. Okay, I'll click on this, and I'm going to use a dark shade like this so that it will be visible. Okay, then I'll increase the spacing here. Okay, to have something like this. And I'll just bring this to this place. Okay, as you can see, it's not visible, so I'll just add more things. Okay, so this is what we have. I head over to my layers, then I'll drag and I'll type 40 like this. Then I'll head over to properties. I'm just going to take this to 0. Okay, then I'll increase this here. Okay, I'm just going to increase it like this and bring it this way. So I'll just zoom in. Okay, to have something like this, I'll just say happy. We have this. Okay, 40th. We have this. Then I'll just use I'll head over to my layers. I'll double click. I'm going to use gradient color on this, so I click on this gradient overlay. So I'll just click on it. Okay, so when I'm done adjusting, I'm just going to click OK. I'll click OK here to have something like this. So I'm just going to type my TH. I'll use my Alt. I'll drag, double click, and I'll write TH. Then I'm just going to head over to properties, and I'll change this. I'm using arrow T, so I'll just type it. Okay, this is it. So I'll just drag it and bring it here. I'll reduce it a bit, and then I'll just drop it here like this. Okay, to have something like this. And the next thing I'm going to type is birthday. So I bring this here and I'll drag this way, and then I'm just going to type BIRTHDAY. Okay, so I'll just select all these and I'll click here to make the text to be, all of them to be caps lock. So I'll take this to 0. I'll hit enter. Then I'll have something like this. The next thing I'll do is to change the color. I head over to color, and I'm going to click on this to have something like this. Okay, then I'm just going to click here, and then I'll head over to this place. I'll click on it. Okay, so I'll just click on this one, and I'm going to use flag. Let's see wave. Okay, I'll change it to flag. No. Okay, rise. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm just going to use this one. I'll just drag this up like this. Okay, I'll just shift this, then I'll just try to take it down this way so that we have something like this. Okay, So when I'm done with that, I'm just going to drop this, and then I'll just adjust this a little bit. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to, okay, I'll adjust this. This is not, it's not looking aligned, so I'll just click here again, and then I'll just take this up a little bit, drag it down, take it up like this. Okay, to have something like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add the name of the celebrant. So I just bring it this way. Okay, I think this is too much, so I'll just click on this. I head over to my layers, I click on birthday, Ctrl T. I'm just going to reduce this. Okay, now make sure it's at the middle. I'll reduce it a bit more, enter, and I'll just click on 40, this, and then this, Ctrl T. I'll just reduce it. Okay, then I'll just drag it up a bit, enter, then I'll click on this, and I'll click on my ribbon, and I'll take it up. Okay, so this is what we have. Then the last thing I'm going to do, or better still, the second to last, add the name of the celebrant. So I head over to this place, I drag, and I'll just say Dr. Mrs. Flora V. Okay, I'll just reduce this one first, like this. I'll drag it here, and I'll drop it here. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'll use my alt. I'll drag, I'll double click, and I'm going to say Michelle. Okay, I'll just increase it to have the size of this, something like this. Then I'll bring this down. I'll just check on the gradient, so I just double click, I'll hit enter, then I'll double click on this gradient overlay. I'll click here, and I'll try to adjust this. Okay, no, I'll bring it this way, okay, I have something like this now. Okay, then I'll just click on this one, and I'll do the same thing. I'll double click on this, and then I'm just going to click here. Now adjust it as well. I'll move this. Okay, so we have something like this. I'm going to hit okay, then I'll just click on this, Ctrl T, and I'll reduce this like this. Then I'll have something of this nature, enter. Okay, so this is what we have basically. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to add the date. So I'll just click here, and I'll click on this tool, then I hold my shift, I'll drag to have something like this. So I just remove the stroke, I head over to layers, I click on this, and I'm going to add a drop shadow. Okay, so I just shift this to see what I'm doing. Okay, let's see, I'll just increase this a bit. a bit and a bit of this. So the next thing I'm going to add is bevel and emboss. So I'll just click on it. I'm just going to add something minute. I'm just going to say emboss. And I'm also going to add gradient overlay. Okay, to have something like this. And then I'll add outer glow. I'm using this color. Okay, after that I'm just going to click OK. Then I'll just reduce this. I think is a bit okay. Ctrl Z. I'll just reduce this a bit too much. Then I'll bring it here, and then I'm just going to hit enter. I'll just double click on this gradient overlay. I want to change the angle, so I just click this way. I'll continue to click until I get the angle. Okay, no, okay, I'll just leave it this way, and then I'm going to click OK to have something like this. And then I'll just type the date, and I'll just say 1st September 2025. Okay, so I head back to my properties very quickly, and then I'll reduce this. Okay, I'll reduce it a bit more. Okay, and I'll reduce this. Okay, I'll click here and I'll change the color to white. Okay, then as you can see, it's not showing, so I head over to my layers, and then I'll just hide this. Okay, and then I'll drag it here. I'll take it up like this, and then I'll increase it this way. Okay, so we have something like this. I'll just increase it a little bit more. Okay, I'll just zoom in. Okay, so with that we have come to the end of this design. The next thing I'm going to do is to do my mock-up. So I'll just reduce this a little bit. I think it's too much. I'll reduce it with the circle, Ctrl T, and then I'm just going to adjust it. Enter. Okay, so with that we have come to the end of this design. Very quickly, I'm just going to open up my mockup. So you can get this mockup from Free Pick. You can get it from online. You just have to go online and search for it. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have here. And the next thing I'm going to do is to save my image. First of all, Shift Ctrl S. I'm going to save it as birthday 40th. Okay, I'll save it as a JPEG. Save. Okay, then I'll just head back to this place, and I will look for where they say place here. So I'll just double click, and then I'm using the size of this mockup. I had to check the size, so I head over to this place. I drag it like this, and I drop it into my Photoshop like this. So I'm just going to drag. Now, if you are designing a jotter, a cover jotter, depends on the size that you want to print out. So it's not actually all the jotters are not actually the same size. It depends on which size. So I'm just going to hit enter. I have to use this size because of the color, because of the size of my mockup. So Ctrl S is saving here. I've saved, so I head back to my mockup. So you can see what we have now. Then I just want to change this background color. I click, double click, then I'll just put this here. Okay, I'll just bring it this way. Okay, okay, so this is what we have. We have something like this, and I'll just click. Okay, you can see the pen, so I'll just click on this pen, say the body here. So I'm just going to double click to change the body. So I'll just use a dark shade of this. Okay, okay, I think this is perfect. Okay, I'll just click OK, then I'll click on it. You can see where they said holder, so I just double click. I'll change the color of the holder. Okay, I'll just use something like this, and then you can see where they said pen button, so I'll just double click, and I will use this a brighter color as well. Okay, then we have something like this. You can see this particular place, text on pen, so I'll just double click on this, and then I'm going to change it to happy birthday. I'll just say happy birthday Dr. Mrs. Flora V. Okay, this is what we have. I'll just align it so that it will be in the middle of these guidelines. Then Ctrl S. I head over to my, you can see it has applied here. Okay, so with that we have come to the end of this design, and I will see